you know, okay. Continue.
Oh, I can't see you.
Just make sure, so just get the energy up. How do you feel after class? Do you feel a little energized after this class?
Feels like we're eavesdropping.
Yeah, who's talking? Is that Ruth?
Yeah. Anyway, it just start, it's just a 1 more minute. So it's just a few of us anyway. So yeah, I was so confused. I thought last week was the last class, right? So I was telling Rick that last night, oh yeah, I said, I have no class. I can take you to the doctor. He needs some special injection in his shoulder. And turns out I can't. So you have to find it. He's very direction confused kind of a person. And so he uses GPS to get to where he need to go. And he's really weird. This man doesn't know the four direction, the north, east, south, and west. He had no clue, and he's not willing to learn.
My car does not have direction in it.
Yeah.
My car does not have direction. Doesn't tell me inside my car what direction I'm going, and I find that very annoying because I sometimes.
Well, I guess you need a brand new car.
Yeah. Well, no,
I'm actually very good in direction. And if my GPS from the phone, doesn't tell me where I'm at or whatever, I just look at the sun, where the sun is shining.
Yeah, but it's cloudy. What about when it's cloudy?
Oh, you can still more or less see the bright where they break up.
Yeah, see, this is how your art has helped you over the years. You can see where the light's coming no matter what.
Right. Well, I use streets and avenues. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not sure, just
yeah, but I went out of town to just take some photos and country roads, and they all started to curve around. And then it's suddenly, I feel like I'm just going down Rabbit Hill Road, and I'm on at 170th Street. I'm going, I have no clue. So I literally had to use my GPS telling me to go home and following what it told me. I was surprised where I was.
Yeah, but that's minor. With Rick, if he sit in the living room and he'll point and say, that big store is meant Superstore, which is on the southeast of me, but he'll point north and say, there's a big store. And I said, I don't remember there's a big store up this way. He said, that one, that big one that you go to all the time, right? I said, no. I said, there's no big grocery store on the north side of us.
Okay, you can't be so rigid then, Willie. You got to be more flexible in your thinking, right? Poor Rick.
So every time he was given a address to go see somebody, a specialist or whatever, he had to make me, or he would do it himself. He would go and make a trip up there just to see where it is.
To practice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I'm going, good thing, they don't give you an address to Calgary and then you have to go. Hi, Pat, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Oh,
I'm just on mute. My wife's talking with her mother.
That's okay. Me and Francis's friend Louise, we're both like allergy. It's just like yesterday I was talking to her, I was just sneezing like crazy, and I'm like sneezing in the morning, oh, it's just terrible. And
Sneezing a lot.
and I keep forgetting to get some antihistamine or something, but I hope that it would just go away, but it doesn't, I guess.
I brought up a new Kleenex box, but look at it. It could be a graphite pencil drawing.
Oh yeah. Wow, you're really into it.
Which I'm going to show you. I worked on my flower.
Okay.
I think I'm done. I had trouble in the middle, but.
Okay. Wow, that's a fairly good size too, eh?
Yeah, it's large. What did you say, Lucy?
Great.
Do we use ink?
No, you know what? I used an 8B.
Okay.
Yeah, and I kept sharpening it so I could get in there.
Okay, that's what I should do.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that looks wonderful. You should get it framed with a black mat and a black frame. Oh.
I'm so done with that one.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes you just have to just call it quit. But then what? If you're you're not anxious to frame it or anything like that, you can come back 6 months later
Well,
and
that's good. Yeah.
do some more.
Bottom up a bit.
Pat, you need to mute again.
Okay, so I'm gonna switch my camera and then just to continue with what we're doing from last week, and it will be more or less the still life one, right?
Well, we had homework, which I did,
Okay.
which was drawing landscape, sort of
Yes,
plein
that
air.
one. Yes, of course. That you need to show and tell.
Well, I will show what one turned out. The other one wasn't so great. Well, and I forgot about the light. So this was one. Does it
Ooh,
look
that was
like
good?
does it look like a lake? I tried to do a reflection.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
Okay. And then the other one, I know it's not dark enough, but I was thinking about the distant trees, you
Yes.
know, when a wind
Yeah.
break trees, but mostly it was about clouds.
Right. And you
How
can
did-
actually, because you want to show distance, you can always put more stuff in front to show the detail in front. And
Well,
then as you get
I think my topic or my focal point are the clouds. So I
the
needed to
cloud,
do
all
more
the
of
clouds, yeah, yeah.
right? And I didn't. So
Well, then you have to make it maybe slightly darker, right?
yeah.
The shading make it darker, make it more dramatic.
Yeah, I do. I do need to do that. Yeah. Okay.
That's it, 2 of them, just the 2.
I only did 2. Did anyone else do a plein air? Lucy,
I
you
didn't
did.
do any. No, but I had this from before. This was what we worked. I finished this one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, that's very nice.
That's really good, Lucy.
Thank you.
And that one is just from the exercise that we.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you do any birds, Lucy?
No, I
Okay,
actually don't think I did any. I'm trying to think of what I did this week. I know what I did. My nude.
Oh yes.
I'm going
Pat?
to post it on Facebook now.
Okay. Pat, can you show us the one that you were showing? Okay, to your left and up a little bit and back up a little bit. Okay, so you need a lot of shading still, right? Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Didn't have much time to work on it this week.
Oh, that's okay. That's why we're here, so we can visit and paint or draw. And like I was telling Ruth, I was so confused last week. I was just like, oh gosh, I'm off tomorrow. At least I get a day off, and not really.
So how did you remember?
Well, Rick was asking me, he said, so you're taking me to the doctor? And I said, oh yeah, I'm taking you because I don't think I have anything. But let me go upstairs and just double check. So then I came down and said, I'm sorry. I said, I just found out that I have a class tomorrow. I mean, I feel so bad because he's so afraid of driving, finding weird places. And this one is in Terwilliger Shopping Center somewhere in the 170th Street. And really quite south, southwest there. No, me too. I just don't like going places where I'm not sure where I'm going with it, right? So, okay, so I think this one is done. And it's not from your class, but I can do more, but I think that's it. But, there's more detail up here, but I don't know if I want to go in there at all. And so this is from the last week. I show you about the ink business. If you do it well, the ink melt into the pencil beautifully. You can't even tell this ink. And of course, I still avoiding my my hand. There's a lot of work on this side here too. So what do you want to work on? Should we do more landscape today? I will. I think we should do a little bit more landscape today.
I would like to, because that's what I want to do in the summer, right? Be able to go out and draw and
yeah, and we got most of it covered, but I want to just give you a little bit more of we have done a lot of water and stuff like that, and you know how to do clouds. And the first one that I showed you was using the graphite, and you rub it onto the paper and then you lift. And that's one way of doing it. And that seems to be a very nice way of doing it. And at the same time too, you can actually go in and enhance it even more by shading and stuff like that. So in that particular one, in clouds, you almost have to Google clouds, because sometimes it's really hard to imagine the shape of it, even though anything you do will look like cloud. But it's sometimes nice to look at samples of different clouds, right? And there's just so many different kinds of them too, you know. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do more landscape and maybe concentrate on closer out thing, like bigger rock and some smaller detail in front and stuff like that. And that you don't even have to look at a picture either. You can just create. So we're gonna do that. Okay. So how far are you into with this one?
I haven't started that one.
Oh yeah. Okay. And did anybody start the nudes yet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
Oh
the
yeah,
nude.
I know that you did. Did you add more to it, Francis?
No, I worked on the flower one day at a time. No time unless I stop sleeping, right?
Yeah. Okay. So in that case, those things you can actually do it on your own. So we might as well just jump into our landscape bit, so that if you want to work on the other stuff, you can, right? So let me grab.
One thing, Willie, I would like you to kind of do one more time is sort of like the like if you take a piece of fruit, like an apple, sort of all the different kinds of, how you make it round, the different kinds of light and reflection on it.
Okay. Just like the first.
Yeah, it was. I know it's very basic, but I'm kind of forgetting it already.
Okay. Well, we can do a pair or something like that, and it's easy enough. So you want me to do that first?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Let me grab my pencils and. Okay. 4B, 2B. And a red pencil. Okay, so why don't we just gonna do a pair? Okay, so a pair, the stem. Oh, let's just go like this. Oh, it's pretty light again. Let me grab a different pencil here. Okay, wiggle, wiggle, and the stem coming down like that. Into the front, you got all this lovely little bumpy kind of thing. And then the pair simply just go a little neck. And then just, sometimes they can have a little irregular rather than a round shape. You can, actually, I don't know if you've been to T&T and look at this Chinese pear. It's not the round one. It's not the yellow one, the round one. And it's not the brown color one. This one is totally green and it's shaped like a pear, but it's not as big. Like, the regular pear, if I were to do a regular pear here, right? The body itself will be more like rounder. See? Much bigger. And this one is elongated just slightly. And it actually tastes very good, and I can only find them occasionally at T&T or Lucky 97 downtown. And it's not as chewy as the regular pear. It's very crunchy and it's nice. I like that. Okay, so we can might as well add a few cherry back here. I'll go, okay, maybe a little cherry sitting back there. With the stem, so that we can play with it and I can add to it afterwards. So I'm going to keep my light coming from this way, right? So you know that the easiest thing is that if you have a dirty stump, it's a lot easier to start. So then you can just take the dirty stem and go, okay, the light's coming here. Let's start with a little bit of the core shadow. You know, see the core shadow down this side. Oop, this one is a little dirty. To give you the core shadow first. Round and round we go. Okay, see? So you might go and say, oh yeah, let's do both of them at the same time. More. I was following, or I am following this on Facebook about this Malaysian. I don't know if I told you, Malaysian. The title is in Chinese, Malaysian Homegrown Vegetables and Fruit. And people are posting what they have, you know, produced from their little garden. And I'm having so much fun watching everything, looking at everything. You know why? Because 40 years ago, when I was living in Borneo, we hardly have any of these kind of vegetables and fruits, you know. But now I think globalization really shows in the last 40 years, where now you can grow figs in Malaysia. You can grow strawberries in Malaysia, right? I mean, oh, in those days, you know, it's unheard of. You just have your local native fruit. That's it. There's no all these foreign stuff. And I'm so surprised too that they grow so well there too, because you know, I don't think fig is exactly the typical fig that we eat, big one. It's not tropical fruit. It's more temperate, right? Well, but they're having fun doing it. So, and they were growing goji as well. And so goji loves winter, and of course tropical forest. I mean, or rainforest. You're not gonna get goji, you know, have to go through a winter or something like that, right? So I don't know how well they grow. Okay, so now I got that in, and then I'll just go straight in. Okay, this is for you, Lucy, so you know. The light's coming from here, the highlights over here. So then we need to concentrate on these lovely gray, the core shadow here. So you can use a pencil now, go back and really emphasize it. Of course, my pencil is too sharp here, so I'm gonna go and do it a rough one like that first. And then you can really give the bottom part here, the part that's far further away, a little bit more shades. And then I'll put a little bit over here to show that the light's coming from here. So it's going around and around. The dark color will be here. And don't forget the reflective light, you know, beautiful reflective light. One from the table, it's from here on the bottom. That's reflected to the table, from the table. And this one here reflected from this pair. No, I'm surprised to see here that Francis, you're afraid to put your tomato out. You do take him out to harden them, right?
Oh yeah, no, I take them out in the day, but I find that they don't do anything if it goes
No,
much
they
below
don't.
9 degrees. And I thought, why risk it? Because it's been windy, and so I
Yeah,
bring them in, right?
yeah, they don't really grow any, but they're probably establishing the roots only on the bottom because it's cold underneath.
I did put 3 out, and they all died.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, they did so. I'm having to dig them up. They look awful. So
I know that's what I did with mine, right? That's why. So I mean, I was lucky. I only lost 1, 2, maybe 3 out of 2 dozen. So. And Louise, every year I always walk by there to look at her bean. She always plant fiber bean or something. It's called fiber bean, and it's so beautiful. The plant itself is beautiful, right? I just need to go and find some really good seeds place. I mean, this year it's really weird right now. Everywhere you go, they're running out of seed. I
That
don't,
happened last year too.
yeah. And I'm just wondering why that is. Is it because of lack of transportation or lack of, shipment from wherever it's coming from?
Everyone's gardening.
Yeah, it's a big hobby now. With people stuck at home. They're all gardening.
I guess, eh? Because previous years, I mean, I have never had problem finding. I went to a couple of stores, I couldn't find zucchini seeds, and I said, "Oh, give up."
Last year was the same problem with zucchini seeds. I couldn't get them.
You know,
Yeah, you have to buy them early.
and of course, zucchini to me is like, I can't. It's fun to grow them, but when the time comes to eat it, you got to pick them when they're small.
Yeah.
I don't like those old one, big one. People live near doorsteps.
You're gonna make cake out of it.
Well, what I do with the young one is even when I buy them in store, I just cut them in half and then maybe quarter and then I put on the plate, 5 minutes in the microwave. And oh, it tastes so good that way.
What do you put on it?
Nothing. Just
Really?
eat it. Just eat it like that.
Wow.
It's very good. I actually learned from a co-worker many years ago, and she always make lunch like that, right?
That's a long time in the microwave, 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it's just nice and tender and everything. It's really good. Okay, let's concentrate on this one for now. So I'm gonna just go and add a little bit more, So when you're doing a fruit or an apple, even though this is the line, but you still need to kind of give it a little bit of shading from the side into the apple or into the pear itself, just a little bit, just to give it more shape, right? Like that. See? Right. And then of course we need to also have darker side on the right side of the stems. Yeah. Mhm. And of course my friend Robert sent me pictures of the mom's farm where I when the garden that I helped built. Last year when I went there, I looked at the whole garden. It was like under 3 feet of grass. So then we one by one, I just kind of pull them out, shovel and pull, and then I create this wonderful garden. I was so tired that we worked literally, from 10 in the morning, have a quick lunch, and then we worked till late, right? Like 8, 9 o'clock. And by the time I'm done, I shower, I just drop into a bed. I just couldn't. And then it's even worse the next day because your muscles is so sore. So that was the first time. And then I was so happy, with the garden I've created, right? And so we left. And then a month and a half later, we went back again just to check the garden. I tell you, I was telling Rick last night, I said, I have never felt so brokenhearted before, when I look at a garden. It was again under 3 feet of weeds. And all that work that I put into create this beautiful, beautiful garden. And the neighbor, she's supposed to be part of the gardening team. So, she also have a section of the garden that she planted stuff. She literally just weed around the bottom of the tomato. That's it. And then all surrounded with weeds. Because she's one of those rich wife, housewife that couldn't go to the States anymore because of the pandemic. So she has to learn how to do gardening. I remember last year commenting on Facebook about, when you have to teach somebody the difference between dandelion and and strawberry. Let's get a good example. And she didn't know what weeds look like, and she know the crackgrass very well, but there's other stuff like creeping Charlie. And but anyway, I looked at it, I literally just like almost in tears when I look at the garden when I went back the second time. And then of course Robert said, well, you know, that's why we need to come more often. And no. I said, I can't come here all the time to take care of the garden, right? So then we clean. I was there for almost 10 days, and then every day I was cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. And of course, looked really good. So yesterday, he gave me a video tour of the garden. All I was thinking is, I'm glad I'm not there.
Oh, it's disappointing.
You know, that's just like another 10 days of work there, you know, that you need to work in there every day. I guess, you know, when, you know, weather in Cranbrook is pretty good. So things grow like crazy, right?
Do they eat the vegetables when they do grow?
Well, the neighbor came and picked some stuff for the mom, you know, and then for the roots vegetable, Rob will go there in the fall to take out the potatoes that we have planted and beets and all that stuff, right? But we also have a couple of vegetable boxes by the house so that she can actually find her way down there without falling, you know, just by the back door. And she will pick the arugula. We put some arugula in there because she liked arugula, and a couple of tomatoes in that box as well. But you know, you need to cover that thing, and because it's so close to the house, you know, surrounded with tree, they don't grow that well because it's in the shade all day long, right?
You know, we often go to the interior BC, and even the small towns have great farmers markets, right? I mean,
Yes.
it's just probably not motivating for a lot of people to grow their own when they
Yeah,
can go
exactly.
down the town center and get terrific produce.
Yeah. And then especially they would drive to, we would drive to Creston, which is about 45 minutes away. And in the fall, Rob will buy literally hundreds and seems like thousands of Roma tomato to put in her fridge so that each bag, you know, bag them separately. So each bag can make a pot of sauce, a tomato sauce.
Mhm.
Okay, next, Lucy.
I know.
You know how to do this part very beautifully now, right? Your highlight, your
Yeah.
core shadow, and like I said, I'm just gonna show you here. You can go even one more up to about 7 or 8 here. You know, if you want the contrast, you know, this area here, it's just like you can just put a little bit more in there in this particular corner, right? And then you're just gonna blend it again. It would just make it more uh, three-dimensional that way.
Okay.
Okay. So then your light's coming from here. So you can see that the light's coming. Let's say, okay, let's just say hits right here on the ground, you know, for the little thing. And then you go another line and say, okay, where's this one hits? Okay, this one hits right here. So the stem will be quite short, you know, like that. That's where your shadow of the stem is because that's where it hits, right? And then we don't worry too much about it because there's already have another items over here. We'll take care of that later. So then from here, definitely you don't want to go straight right to the here. You go and figure it out this side first. So the light's coming from here, go, and then you decide where you want to where you want to stop. Then if you just stop it right there, you can do a shadow. That means that the light is kind of like, you know, at a funny angle to cast it. Like if you want to cast down a little bit below 1/8 of an inch, then we can actually go like a C, a letter C, right? See? And then of course everything else is kind of following that. And then this particular one down here will be bigger, right? Go like this. And then of course on the other side, all you do is do a circle, like a little oval shape, because that's this part here, if you cut it with a knife, cut across, you can draw a line like that here. So therefore the circle ends here, right? So then the shadow and started from here, right? See? right? So, it's because you cannot cast a shadow if there's nothing over the other side. So the other side of the pear is sticking out a little bit there. That's where it is. And the light will hit there and then just kind of go down this way. So now we got this lovely round here. We can just go in here and shadow it, right? Of course, you can make it as smooth as you want. And always concentrate on the corner, like this corner here. Make it nice and dark, and then let it bleed out to the outside. Okay. And then the rest, you're just gonna go and shadow it in all the way down to here. Yeah, and depends on the light too. Sometimes if the light is not as strong, then the shadow will be darker towards the bottom of the fruit. And then as you move out, you'll be lighter, just to make it interesting. Rather than a bright sunny day, you then get a shadow that is very even all the way down, right? So that would be your, this is probably the part that most people have problem positioning the light. All you have to do is think about, where the light's coming from. If you were to say, okay, my light's coming from here, it hits over here, then obviously the shadow again, you cut a slice off because you want to see, okay, that's a little bit. Then the other side will be starting from here instead of where we were before. See, now of course the light, you can move it to directly overhead like this, right? So you can see what happening here now. So this is a new line, the light coming down, and it hits here. So therefore the new shadow will be directly underneath, right? Just like a ball. We were talking about early on when the ball, and if you have direct light coming down, your shadow basically sits in between those two lines here. Make sense now? Yeah. So then if you have your ball, same ball, and if you want to move it slightly this way, then you can see, oh, now it hits here. Then hits here. Then your shadow moved from this to elongated to this side now. Okay.
What happened to the shadow of the left pear, the shadow of the stem of the left pear?
This one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If you draw the same thing, draw a line and go, oh, it hit this pear here.
Okay.
Then it will cast a little bit of a shadow, right? And then if you go like this again and go, oh yeah, it hits here. So therefore the shadow here will be like that. So then you go and make this one joined up with the rest of the shadow here. Right? See? Just go here and hit, because it's not hitting the floor. It's just hitting here, right? So if you really want to emphasize the light here, you can erase that. And then you can see that the shape of the pear is usually the same. And we won't get into the bottom part. I mean, I'm going to talk a little bit about that roundness here, over here, so that you can see it. Let's say we have, looking down on the floor, and then we have rocks sitting here like this and like that, right? Or even just close enough, that doesn't matter. So these are rocks looking down. So the light's coming from here. So the shadow, normally we would just go in there like this, and like this, right? But because of the roundness of the rock, the shadow at the end actually bend like this. It's following the contour of the see this? Just turn around like this, like that, right? So it's the same thing with these guys. It's all gonna turn slightly in the corner, like that. And of course, this one is right in with the rest of it, so you can't see much unless you want to do the top. Yes, you can, right? Not that far. I mean, you know what I mean. Just go like that, about to here. And then this part here will be, again, shadow, and then bend a little bit on this corner. Okay, so you see this is applied to this. You see this? And then it goes and bend a little bit following the shape of the pear. There. it will never be able to go straight down because it's not a flat surface on this pair. It's not flat. Okay, so is that enough revision there for you?
Yes, that's great.
Okay.
Now you're getting very advanced. Those rocks, that's
Oh
advanced.
no, I mean when you're doing single thing, it's easier for you. When you do multiple, then you have to just apply this theory to it. So that if you're using a one light source, just stay with one light source. Don't go and do the vertical and some and then the other ones, right? Unless it's a studio lighting, sometimes they put in the studio and with multiple light sources, then yes, you got all the funny shadow everywhere. So that in that case, nobody cares, right? Okay, so that's that. So back to our landscape again. Okay, before your neck, you didn't say anything about your neck again. Let me adjust this, Francis.
Oh, that's better. That's good. It's not till the end of 2 hours. I'm sore. The first part's okay.
Yeah, well, because I'm sitting that way, so you just might as well. And adjusting this camera is a pain in the butt right there. Okay, that should be good enough. I'll just move my chair a little bit. Okay, so for the landscape again, we want to start with a little bit of a border. Okay, and like I said, this time we wanted to create bigger rocks and stuff in the front. Emphasis is mostly on the front. So yeah, you can just create nice big boulder, smaller one, and in between, whatever, you just first kind of draw a little bit of interesting rock here, and then some rocks there, pile up rocks sitting back here. It doesn't have to be too many of them, but it's okay. So then, of course, with this rock, sometimes they will have grass, so that you might like to just draw some lovely blade of grass here and there, so that you can apply your vase. Remember with the kind of a grass, how you falls and everything, you can do it there, right? So put a few of those, and sometimes it will be just fun to put a little bit of a wildflower thing going on here too. You can have different weeds, so that you might say, okay, out this way, I want to have a little bit of a flower like that. And some of the grass can come up from the side. Don't forget that. We do landscape. We want to have a nice frame around it like that, right? So then whatever flower you can just wildflower, doesn't matter, just kind of do a little heart shape or a little round shape, and then just adding a little bit here and there, just for the fun of it. Now, there's two things with this upfront one, because you can do out of focus on that totally, and then the emphasis mostly here, but you can have one that you can see forever, right? So we're gonna deal with that later on. So first of all, we're just gonna go in there and say, okay, let's just do twigs, and maybe there is something growing that it's actually like a tree, and you can actually see the leaves. And of course, try to always add a little bit of vertical at 1/3 here. So here we go. We got some interesting leaf with the stems coming down, and maybe have another ones over here, more leaf, heart shape, taco shape, another taco shape, there we go. Just have fun with this, just have a little bit of a filler. We can have filler, small little filler here and there, just to add to it. Okay, so this particular thing, which is going down to wherever it is. And then you might have one that's exiting. We always want to exit somewhere. So this is kind of the basic kind of a design that we have. So now we have all this in, now we have the light source now, okay? So we're gonna keep everything simple coming from the left. So then we're gonna go each one of this rock, and then we're starting to give you a basic shades first. So we're gonna give a little bit of core shadow here, for example. And then the thing with rock too, the nice thing is that you don't need to make it even, right? Because they sometimes have a little bit of extra creases or whatever in there. You can do that, you know, and then a little bit of a dot here and there. You can do dots, right? And then of course on this corner, maybe a little darker. Right? Cracks and stuff. So draw a line and then just add to it, right? See? And then some rock might have a little, definitely like a cube kind of a thing. So then you got 3 sizes, 1, 2, 3, right? So if you have a rock that is round and then nothing just round, you basically have a core shadow running down this way. But if you have a rock that sometimes we call it a pillow, you know, it's just like shaped like a rectangle, like a box, but it doesn't have to be a straight line. So then you got your 1, 2, 3, meaning the darkest is 1, right? And then the middle color, and then the light on top depends on where the light hits. So these two are very similar. So let's say we do this guy here. So therefore, this is the number 1 here. So the number 1 here will be quite dark. You know, make it the edges a little bit more raggedy or whatever you want to call it, jaggedy, like that. So this is the number 1, the darkest part. And then the rest of these, it will be nice and light over here, but the slightly darker color on this side. You know, maybe even darker a little bit in this corner, join up with kind of this here. Right, so yeah. Now we haven't putting any texture in here. We're just gonna, and then of course the rest of this here will be quite light. Yeah, this, especially this division here, right? Make it even. Yeah, so you got your 1, 2, 3. Like I said, you know, it's slightly darker in this corner. So the same thing with this guy. If you wanted to change it just a single, nothing, no more, whatever, it's just rounded. Same thing, light here, dark here, you know. And then this side here will be continue to go dark in this bottom. You already know how to do this already based on the apples and pear thing business. So you know. Yeah, see. And if you want to create some more core shadow with highlight, reflective light, you can do that. Just whatever you want, right? Because you see here, you know, the white one, it just looked boring like that, right? So now you have one that you can split in half, but not continuously on the bottom, you know, like that. Then of course you can also just go and start, and this corner here will be darker here and dark, and then just go into the light, right? See, like this kind of stuff. And you can put more if you want. You go, oh yeah, there's another crack that maybe kind of cross like this, you know, and then the rest of the dark will cast a little bit of shadow underneath, like that. Of course, there's a lot of texture too. You know, you can do all kinds of texture like lines and just dot it in. Because you never know what kind of surface, you know, if you make it like that, it just looks like it has a very bad teenage year. Okay, so of course I want to make sure that I keep my stem here light. So I just go behind it a little bit. Right? You might cast a shadow, but you know, very hard to see on this rock here. So this is just various things on the rock to keep you interesting here. Now, sometime you have a good place will be here, if I can do it. So sometimes you might have a little hole on the rock. So think of a teacup. if the light's coming from here, it's just gonna hit the right side of the hole, right? Think of a teacup, like a glass like that. If the light's coming from this direction, it will go, this is the lighter part, and this will be the darker part on this side. But because our light is coming this way, the hole now is showing that light is here and the dark over here. So this is a hole, then you go and darken on this side like that. And usually you don't need to draw a super dark highlight, a line outline, because if I don't draw it, you can't see it. So a lot of time, all you have to do is just do a little C. If the light's coming from this direction, then you go dark, 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 dark here, and then just kind of melt it away into the rest of it, right? That's all you need to do. It's just like a little cup, continue the cup. So if you use a cup, right, this will be the lighter part, and then the light coming here, then your core shadow runs down here for the cup. Like so. But because we're dealing with just a hole in a rock here like this, so you just need to worry about the top part here. So you can do small little one here, like all this little hole, just keep doing it, letter C, and then just kind of small one. And sometimes they're so small to a point where you literally just write the letter C on it, So this is like a piece of cheese. Of course, you put too many of them, it look like cheese. But there's some rocks are like that, especially those lava rock, they're quite unusual, right?
They usually collect water and then they have a little reflection.
Which one?
I've seen little holes in the rocks like
that. Yeah, if it's big enough, yes, right? Yeah, if it's big enough. So we'll continue with this one. This one is tedious because we have grass and weeds or whatever leaves in front. So then you just go and shade it just like this, keep this side here is, dark with a little bit of texture, whatever. So sometimes you can just use the side of your pencil and just give it a real rough one. So we're going to do this one super rough. And of course, your leaves, sometimes you may have to use an eraser to restore them, so. And then you might have another line kind of go like this way. Doesn't matter which way then you're gonna go down here, here, here. So it's just interesting. We're doing rock. I mean, it's like you can always go and Google rock, and then you can see most of the time people want to take nice picture. They don't want heavy shadow, so then you don't find shadow. So you need to add your own to it. So here's maybe some, again, more, this is a bigger letter C, cracks and whatever. More cracks up here. All right. So yeah, you can see that the theory applies to all these from the pairs and then to your rock. It's more or less the same. So you can see, you can just go and add more texture. And then you can see that a lot of rock, they do have all these lovely markings and stuff like that. Right? More weeds, weeds, and then some of them are so thin you don't see two lines now. So, okay, like for example here we can just go weeds, and some of them the bigger one, that's nice. You can have a darker color like that, I guess. Yeah, see, like that. Turn some skinny one, right? And then you go, oh yeah, this one should be darker. Hiding back there. Another darker one here, and darker one, some light one, some skinny one. Okay. So you see the whole thing, it's all the study of the front here. And in rock is really quite fun to start. I mean, we always have other stuff that you can put in, like fallen trees or tree trunk, and what else you have in the nature, but mostly just grass and leaves and smaller young trees like that. Right? So you can do half of this or give it a little bit of shades. So this thing here, especially Francis, you like doing little landscape like that. It's just, you can go on forever, right? You can just add more, take out more, or say, oh yeah, there's more of these funny little flowers there growing right from here. That. See, pretty soon you have a little bit of a.
One of the things I was doing with one of the lands.
Yeah.
Lost you.
Where are you?
How's your internet, Lucy? I keep losing you. It might be my internet.
Yeah, well, I'm here. I can see all of you nicely. It was Lucy too. Sometimes when
No,
Lucy,
sorry, you just keep freezing up every now and then, but it might be my end.
yeah, you're lagging as well. You're lagging slightly. But with Lucy, not only she's lagging, her speech came 2 seconds later.
The trick.
Okay,
I'm
so
delay because I swear a lot,
oh, you do? I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm capable of it.
No. I only swear with some of my friends, and it's all for laughs. And then, oh my God, some of my friends are so disgusting. And after they leave, usually my cheek hurts. Just from laughing so much. It's kind of nice though, when you have a whole group of friends that are all great storyteller, right? And sometimes I'm trying to study a conversation, a 2-hour conversation with a group of friends. You kind of go, it's really important for someone to start to create a topic to talk about. So if I were to say, oh, by the way, oh gosh, I have a terrible day yesterday. If you talk about gardening, then everybody have a little gardening experience. We'll talk about it, right? And then until someone turn like to me, I can picture is a tree, like branches coming out from there. So you got your gardening. Now you got these little branches of talking about finding seeds. And then someone would say, like my friend David will say, oh yeah, wherever I go, I collect seeds and then I smuggle it back into this country, right? And he used to do that a lot. And then he's trying to start it in his living room. And this guy is nuts about plant. And when I go to his place, the balcony is full in the summer. The dinner table is full. Everything, there's no place for you to even sit down. That's how many plants there are in there. And a lot of them are not well taken care of either, So then she would say, oh, look at this. There's a little bit of something growing. He said, I've been growing and this has been for like a year. This is from Madagascar. And look at, it's not even doing anything. And I have to say, I said, you're taking stuff from tropical rainforest and you expect it to grow in your living room, But anyway, that kind of conversation just went on and on and on. And of course, sometimes they stay here, I'm so tired. I say, listen, guy, I'm going to bed. And poor Rick have to entertain them till 3 a.m, right? But then can you imagine you at a party, they're all like you guys, nobody talks. And I think the party will end very quickly about 7:30. Okay. Francis, when you look at this, what do you see from behind here? So like I said, you can do 2 things. You can have very out of focus, very muted, and concentrate every single little thing and just adding very tiny little detail to all these. And then the back is just blur, right? So the concentration is up here. But if you want to go further, let's say if I were to put the line here, fairly low, not in the midpoint, but somewhere here. Once you put a line across, then you realize that, oh yeah, that could be a lake, could be water, could be land, depending on what you want to put on there, right? So if I were to say, okay, let's do the 1/3 here, and I'll put a little bit of a rooftop here on the side of the on the far away here, then you can see, you can only achieve this with a special camera when you can have something in front with a depth of field that you can see far, far away like that, right? Our human eyes cannot do that. Our human eye, if you want to concentrate here, you don't see the back. If you want to see the front there, it's just like camera. If you were to focus on these little house on the prairie here, then the front is going to be blurry, right? So you're going to have to use your f-stop. I think it's f22 is still the highest. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
And of course, I find it's really hard sometimes. And now my iPhone actually have f-stop on it. And I just recently discovered it, and I thought, oh, this is so much fun. So when I take a picture of me standing somewhere, if I want the black back to be blurred out, right? And they actually have a preset one. They just call it portrait, right? And then it's really quite cool. So anyway, so let's just say you do half of this, okay? We're gonna do half. This part here, it can be forever and ever. And again, we want the land to have some kind of a movement in there. So you go that kind of stuff again, right? This little reverse C, and then you can shade it. Could be farm, freshly plowed. And that kind of stuff, right? Then you can have fairly busy. So if you can see from here to the house, obviously you're gonna see everything in between as well. So, okay, so there you go. And then of course, on the back here, it's just entirely up to you now. So then you can say, oh, you know what, it would be really interesting to give these particular one a lovely, nice, billowing kind of a clouds going on. So you go wiggle, wiggle with the side of the brush. First create, these lovely giant clouds all the way. The bigger ones usually up this, up to the top there. And then there's some smaller one here. So then you just go ahead and take your time slowly, just shade the clouds here, the gray color in between. And then for the rest of these, you might like to give you the even shades of these just to indicate that the sky either blue, and then you can just go lighter if you want. And then you might have some far away cloud that you can only see a little bit. Like that. Or you can do what we were doing before. We can just remove the far away one, of course. And then you just continue to shade, right? See, look at this landscape here. It's a typical, like we call it the storybook landscape, right? You just go ahead and do all that shading here and there. Just give the clouds a shape. So usually like that. Okay, so you can see, I don't know if you can see there. Of course, you need to go and study the clouds, and if you want to reduce it, you can just erase and then make it look even softer, right? Softer cloud, and no line, of course, hardly any outline. Clouds doesn't have any outline. And just make it more ambiguous. You just take your eraser and go touch, 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 touch here and touch there. And then the eraser also pick up some lead as well. Then you can just, you can see that the lightest part, of course, have to remain white for sure, right? Especially the edges. Okay, there we go. Right, can keep adding to it, of course. If you want to make this side of the house darker, why not? Make this tree, more tree, smaller one that's happening in the back of the, beside these, all these forever, go on forever and ever. Okay. So this, you're gonna spend a lot more work in the front. You can even downright to see a butterfly or a dragonfly or something flying in there. But anyway, so with this one here, the far away, and you don't really want to do too much. Well, the other thing is that you can do it two ways. You can shave your blade, shave your pencil on here and make it a nice dark, and then we remove to turn into clouds like we did last week. Or you said, no, I don't want to shave, I don't have a knife. Then you just go ahead and shade like this for the blue sky, and anything there's cloud, you just go and skip without drawing any line. Oh, I think my pencil is a little too with the wood, but that doesn't work. So shave off, just remove some of this wood. Okay, so you can just go like this and go, yeah, the shape of the cloud. Here's the cloud exiting. More clouds here. So we're not doing it removing, we're actually saving it, right? I mean, the clouds are very unpredictable, of course. Small one. Bigger one on top. So if you do a quick sketch, like you will be doing outdoor, you're just gonna do very quick one like this, just kind of show that there is, sure you can, you're allowed to erase and whatnot if you say, oh, that didn't look good or whatever. And then towards the end, you're basically just doing straighter line, far away. The clouds are smaller, and just go like this all the way down. So this could be a continuation of this landscape here, onto here, and this more like a fall maybe, with nothing on the ground. So, here you're just gonna put a little bit of texture, or simply, or if it's water, you can just paint them in or draw them in. So the job is to make sure that all these little leaves in front are taken care of. Well, we don't want to lose the rock here, so. Okay. See, this is sort of thing that will give you, that will go on forever and ever further away. Now, of course, you already learned by now that if you want to do mountains and stuff in the foothill, I don't know what that is. Okay, I'm going to put some more leaf here to cover that, like this. And then you can have, you can actually use a eraser to, if it's enough, dark enough, then you can actually create hills or whatever in the back there. Or you can simply just say, oh yeah, I want to draw it in first, so here we're going to draw and have a little bit of a so it's all about perspective and depth of field, right? And as far what we call in painting too, the deep space. So these are the deep space that we're going to achieve here at the back. So the light's coming from here. We're gonna have a little darker color here for the mountain or hills. Okay, the light's coming from this side, shadow on the right side of the hill. Is it far enough for you?
Looks good. Looks great.
Yeah. So yeah, so then you just, when you come back and you're just going to go and shade all the lovely darker area behind these clouds. I'm going to put a little bit more, just give it more deep space look to it, right? And then this one is just, you can leave it like that, or you can go back and go, okay, yeah, let's just soften the edges a little bit. And you have all your pencil there already. You just go, and whatever you're saving there, or erasing will be I think the kneadable works better. Okay, so kneadable. See? Oh yeah. Okay, so rub, get the clouds out of there. Okay, so I'm gonna put it close enough for you to see.
Beautiful.
So we can even turn this into a lake over here. That would be the end of the. So yes, you can do even further higher up, like the birch tree that I was showing. Did I show you the birch tree where we see through the woods? Yes, we did.
I don't remember.
Let me check. Let's do. And by the way, you received all these I sent you, right?
We did. We received.
Yeah, this one. So this one here, can you actually introduce on here? Yeah, you can. So sometimes it's quite neat to add something like that. So if I were to do it, I would go.
Does that work better than a white eraser, Willie?
Yes, this.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Because you see how I control where I want to go. And it actually takes a lot of the lead out right down to your paper, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So let's do another one here. See? Maybe this one go behind that rock here. So if you say, oh, I like that, so maybe we should frame it up and do this side as well. Should always have a battery here so that if I run out, Okay, so there's two more things to show you and then we're done with this. So you see how much you can add to it, you know, to create landscape. You can keep it very simple, but once you think about vertical and frame, you know, so this is sort of everything all in once. So now, of course, the light's coming from here. So therefore, I'm going to just go and darken this side. A little nod here, a little bit of texture. Just go down, create the line first so that we know where they are. Okay, and then of course the smaller one you can just add to it later on, you know, like all that. So then slightly on this side, lighter outline on this side, just to finish it up. A little bit of light here, a little bit of color here or shade, and then the rest it's all marking, you know. And if it's big enough, you will create a little bit of a core shadow on the side here. You know, core shadow a little bit down, and maybe a little reflective light here because there's some rock, more marking, darker colors on the bottom, marking. Okay, some marking, some more marking here. Okay, so I won't do this side, but I want to show you the, sometimes they call it the Chinese frame. When you're drawing a picture, and especially I can take, let's say one of these maybe not, because they're quite full already. Yeah, these are quite full. So if you were to do a very simple landscape, this one I would even think that is too much. So I'll just do a little quick one to show you. So let's say if you do a very simple landscape of say a pond or whatever, and there's boats in here and, you know, like a little sailboat. I don't know what sailboat looks like, you know, and like that. And then you got trees at the back, you know. So let's say you're sitting in a really nice garden somewhere and they have artificial pond with some pagoda, whatever in here. And, you know, some really neat little building back there with all this, the water here with more shrub, right? So then you got your water like that. So you end up with a very nice big sky. Everything is sitting right here. So what is a Chinese frame? The Chinese frame is coming from the top. So usually they will have crosses like this, cross, cross, cross to make it interesting, or single. And you can come out from the side as well. I'm sure you have seen pictures like that when people frame it up like that. So that's what we call it the Chinese frame, because in the Chinese drawing and painting, they love this particular one, you know, right? So it looks like you are sitting on this side in between trees, and these trees are from you on your side that is hanging down. So yeah, then you're gonna go and just add all this lovely foliage hanging down like this. Okay. Yeah, so sometimes if you don't know what else to add to this picture, that you have such a big sky, you know, and nothing more really interesting happening, well, the other thing you can do is add willow, like branches that sticks out from the side here like this, and then here on this side as well. Usually we don't do the middle because you know, that means that you can do the whole thing to the solid, but it's just more interesting if you leave this empty space here like there. So here you'll be this branch here, this tree hanging down from here, Just do it quickly so that you can see. So branches. I was going to ask you, you guys shop at Costco, right? Is there a day that is not so busy?
I heard that if you couldn't go in the day, it would be Tuesday between 6 and 8.
Oh, during the night? Huh?
Yeah, but I usually go in the morning, but I go to the north one, near your shop, right? That's the one I find least busy.
Oh, you mean that one, the West End. Yeah.
It's on 149th Street and.
Oh, 149.
Yeah, way up. It's the north one.
Yeah. Because I was thinking of West. That one is busy as well. I mean, everywhere you go with Costco, it's always so busy. So, okay. So now, can you see the picture? Now is yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then of course you do your the front like this, and then you got that frame up there. Right? Usually we do the top, and there's nothing at the bottom. You try not to add more stuff here. Then you have 4. That's too much.
So you bring it down about a third of the painting, or a little more.
You can do about a third, or some sticking up more than a third, but usually about a third. Right? See the concentration. Whoops, should be over somewhere here, right? Yeah, like I say, if you were to do the whole thing, let's do the whole thing. It just won't look look the same, but it still works for some people as long as you keep it short here. But then it doesn't make sense. Where is this leaf comes from? Right? You wanted to have trees here because you might have trees that grow on this side like this. Down, and of course if you grow tree from here, because you cannot see, it's out of the picture, so therefore it should only grow to here, cannot go this far, this extra here. Of course, if you pull back a little bit, you will put trees in, but you have to be careful not to go too far to the left and too far to the right either, right? You want it to be comfortable. So with this one here, we might as well finish this side. So this is the side here, and slightly here just to show that the trees are there, and some nods, some marking. I just hate going to Costco, especially now you have to line up forever and ever.
Well, Kenny is talking today at 11:30. So the reopening plan.
Oh, I see. Yeah. It's funny that they keep following the states, right? If the state do this, and then he would do that. I mean, it's all different. I mean, right now, some part of the world, it's still under, serious kind of a infection rate is so high. So, and today I was so happy to see that our Edmonton number is down. Did you check? Did you see?
Yeah, it is down. But kids go back to school tomorrow, and I think there could be trouble after that.
How low is our number?
It's 300 something.
Yeah, it's quite low.
Compared to 2,000 and 1,000 and.
That's very good news. That's a big improvement.
I know.
We have a lot of deaths still, and a lot in ICU.
Yeah, we have over 150 and 160 something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then we have to also look at the number of deaths and also the serious ICU cases because of their age. And also their health is compromised already. So anyway, I'm just glad I'm still healthy. One of my friends in Malaysia, he's a politician, and he has been, promoting wearing masks and all that kind of stuff. And then one of his workers in his office just tested positive. So
Malaysia's not doing well at all.
No, because you're talking about a lot of native Malaysians where they really don't have the access, to the forest for the jungle or whatever. So there's a lot of infection. Only when they're sick, they bring them out to the hospital in the city, right? And that's where they find out. Sometimes could be the whole village. Half of the village are all infected because there's such a small community where they eat together. They sleep together in a long houses, and all the houses are joined together, right? Yeah. So anyway, so my friend tested positive. Now he's out in the hospital now. So that's a problem, right? It's just like, when you have the White House, if you have all these people working around the president, I mean, sometimes they got it, they didn't know, and then that's how they pass it on, right? Okay, Francis, any question about these deep space? And this view here is really nice. These two view, it's always nice to do the vertical like that too far. So this one could be lower in a 1/3, and this is the small sky, and this one is the big sky, right?
Yeah.
So when you look outside and you kind of have to decide, okay, do I want a big sky or small sky? Do I want to add vertical? If it depend on where you're sitting, really, right? And then do I want to?
Yeah. The difficulty for me is when you sit back and you look at your clouds and maybe you've got some darkness in your clouds and blue behind. It's all the same shade, right? Like because you've got one color you're using.
Yeah.
Is to know where to bring out.
Yeah.
Where to do the contrast.
Yeah. So the contrast is always negative, the behind, right? So you can see here, this is the behind of this cloud here. I'm gonna make it slightly darker so you can see it, right? So there you go. Now within this big cloud though, sometimes they will have a smaller cloud as well, a smaller section like that. So then you go behind it, and it doesn't have to be the entire thing. You can be just some parts of it and then disappear again. And then within itself again. There's just so many of kind of clouds, right? But just anything you do though, just make sure that the top, keep it as big as you can. Like, all the white clouds should be always on the top, because that's supposed to be the closest to you. So, keep it nice and big there. And then anything closer to the horizon, keep it smaller. But sometimes it's also not necessarily true. You can have big clouds all the way down too. So, but if you want to create a deep space, and that's what you need to keep in mind, lighter color, smaller cloud right here. There. So we're gonna go back to a regular, do this for a few minutes. I'm gonna wash my hand. I have bled all over the place. And okay. Besides, I need to stretch my leg. Well, it looks kind of sunny and breezy out there. Okay, let's see here. Well, it's just like, I thought, oh, this weekend I'm going to be, free again this weekend. And then one of my students text me and say, so are we still going to do Saturday, the family acrylic? And I go, oh, I forgot all about it. So one of my students decided to invite all her children and the grandchildren, and we're going to do a Zoom and we're gonna paint a little acrylic with all the grandkids and everything. I thought that was pretty neat,
Yeah, that'll be fun.
right? Because otherwise you can't get them all together. They're all over Edmonton, all over southern Alberta, and so this is a good idea. Okay, let's see here. Then after this summer, I have to plan all kinds of painting project for the Edmonton Senior Friday. I mean, Larry is so far ahead, and you know. Should play with that.
Okay, I can give you some ideas.
Yep. You want to do birds?
I've seen things that Francis painted before I started that I would like you to do. Remember that fish with all the overlapping colorful fish?
There were two. There was sort of the zebra, the angel fish, which was,
Yeah.
and then there was the other really colorful ones. I actually, Willie, I gave it to a friend who had it framed, and she has it in her bathroom. She loves
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, actually, you are the second person, Lucy, to request it. Yvonne. Yvonne. That's Rick's brother. You know, he wanted it because he's painted with me, but he never finished his.
Oh.
So he wants me to redo. So.
What other idea did I have?
And we will be doing birds too. How to draw birds.
Oh, that'd be fun. Good.
On one of them, I can't remember which one. The Chinese finches.
Ooh.
Yeah, just using paint though. It's not drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, in the past, it's kind of nice that the senior center was shut down for 2.5 months, 3 months. Then everybody, you know, can go about, do their things and whatnot. But the Edmonton Senior downtown, you know, all the 17 years, 18 years I was there, we never had breaks in the summer. Because the people who lived upstairs in the palliative care and the senior nearby, they don't have summer holiday, you know, because they're just too old to go anywhere, right? And so we will just keep the center open so that they can come and have coffee there, lunch with their friends, and then, you know, take some classes or whatever. And then the exercise program is going all the time, so. Yeah, you know, sometimes I think about Robert's mom, my parents, and my friends' parents. Everybody's getting old. And then I still remember years and years ago, I have a student, and every week he will come and paint with me. And then he would say, "Oh, I need to go to feed my mom," you know. And at that time, I keep thinking, I'm going, wow, you know, he's not that young. He was at that time in the 60s already, you know, and looking after his mom, right? And then at that time, I was younger, and I keep thinking, oh my God, that's kind of weird, you know. Your oldest son now is so old that you have to take care of your old mother, you know. And here I am, right? I don't really have to feed my parents, but still I need to go over there, buy them stuff and bring him over there. You know, at least I have some warning before, you know. Yeah. And of course, now that we're getting old, I cannot speak for myself. You know, I have one son that lives here, well, for now, right? And then the other one in Australia. Well, I wouldn't count on the one in Australia to look after me.
Does Rick have family in Edmonton? He has lots of family. Doesn't he?
Yes, he had 2 other brothers living here now in Edmonton, and one sister in Newfoundland. And then the older brother lives in North Carolina, and he's by himself. He's married 4 times or something like that, stupid. And all the kids, grandkids, he doesn't see. One of his son lives in Winnipeg. It's so weird how this is sort of common now, with today's world. People don't live within 3 miles of their birthplace. Where they used to say that in the old days, people live about 3 miles radius. In the 3 miles radius, that's sort of I can say that was my childhood. When we were growing up in Borneo, we don't go that far, and the generation before me, they all stick around, right? But nowadays, with air traveling and stuff like that, you can go so far. Getting a job in some place, foreign country and stuff. I have a lot of friends that have kids living in Dubai. Obviously they are all professional people that Dubai would love to have, right? In the finance and everything. They have so much money that they have to get a foreigner to come and teach them how to use it.
Really, those little kind of floppy, long leaf things in the front, how do you shade those?
Well, you need to just go behind it if you want to keep it light, right?
Okay, just go behind.
Yeah, and then if you have eraser, you have electric eraser, it's a lot easier once you get the dark color on the rock behind it, you can see it better. Unfortunately, I think in pencil, we don't use masking fluids, so. Yeah, having kids these days, and say having kids with my parents, there are different purposes there altogether. With our parents, my parents anyway, when they have children, they just hope that one day that's what you do. You invest into these kids, that one day they will look after you.
Well, they should be proud of you then.
Well, I'm still from the old world, so. I mean, my kids are totally different, right? They look after themselves, and then how it is today. Making a living is not as easy as not that it's easier before, but it's just life is a lot simpler than.
The costs are higher for kids, for housing and for schooling.
Yeah. I sometimes, think about how they're gonna go and find their own place. Like 2 houses down, there's a fellow. He was a young kid when I moved in. He was so young then, but now he's getting older. I keep forgetting, when I first met Michael, he's like 14 years old, right? And I remember him having a hard time in school because he doesn't fit in and all that kind of stuff. To him not going to school, hang around the house. Sometimes he will be in the backyard smoking dope and all that stuff. And the mom just let him kind of, they don't get any help. And so now he's like 20 something, right? I've been here for 20 years, so he's 20 something already. And still bump around, working here and there, just a little bit of, and he is so into skateboarding. That's all he does, is skateboarding. And I talked to him briefly before, and I said, Michael, you can't be doing this forever, and you don't expect, your mom is not going to be here forever to look after you, right? And the mom still works to support him and everything. That's not going to happen with me, with my kids. My kids, when they're old enough, you want to work? Yeah, good. You pay rent. Unless you go to school, I'll support you when you're going to school. I remember one of my kids going, "What? You want to charge me rent?" I said, "Yeah, sorry, Alexander. That's how it works." So so anyway, Michael recently was back there moving boxes, and then the mom was helping it. I was in the garden, and then I said, "Oh," I said, "Leslie," the mom. I said, "Leslie," I said, "Are you guys doing moving or something?" He said, "Oh, not me." He said, "Michael just found himself a place, with roommates out of the north side, and he's gonna go on his own, and he's gonna try, blah blah blah." It didn't last for 3 weeks, and I saw him moving back again, right? I learned all these from watching Judge Judy, okay? And they just think that it's so romantic to be able to have friends, live together, rent an apartment, share the apartment together. Hello. It's just never that easy. So I saw Leslie the other day, and I said, "I thought I saw Michael the other day," and she just kind of rolled her eyeballs. Hard to be a parent, I tell you, these days. And just like my son, when he first moved out, and he said, "Oh, I have my 4 friends from high school, or 3 friends, and the 4 of us going to share a house together, and we're going to split the rent and blah blah blah." And I remember telling Christopher, I said, "Christopher, do you have a backup plan?" And he said, "What do you mean backup plan?" I said, "Well, I'll just give you an example. One of your friends might end up bringing a girlfriend in there." And I said, "How are you going to split the rent now? So you got to make sure that that's all on paper. You guys are all agree to it, right? And what about if one friend just couldn't get along, finally found out that he can't get along with all of you, and then he decided that he's going to quit? What is the plan? Now you're going to end up paying more, more rent. What are you going to do?" "Oh, that's not going to happen. We're good buddies. We've been friends for many years, all that stuff." Sure enough, one of the guys decided to bring the girlfriend in, and so then, of course, they all, and some are not very happy, that, well, she's here and she also eats our food and whatnot. And yeah, it's kind of nice though. At least I'm here to warn them first, right? When I was growing up, I had nobody to tell me. I know everything. I had to find out on my own. So with this vase, I just have to slowly bring it, paint drawdowns. I think you did this one already, right? No?
Lucy did that one, I think.
Yeah, Lucy did. Yeah.
Okay, I'm working on that house. You said to darken it, but I don't know what more to darken. I mean, I'm just making it up as I go along.
Yeah, that looks fine.
So would you think that's done?
Okay, closer. I want to see the front. Lower. Okay. Oh yeah, the front probably needs a little bit more detailed, right?
Front, you mean like here or the house?
Oh no, right in the front of the lower part of the page.
But that's the part you said kind of fades away anyway.
Yeah, in the corner, but your certain area you need to.
So in here.
Yeah, that's kind of on the edges of it, right?
Okay.
Well, you can also just play with it and see what you like. You don't have to agree with me all the time.
Yeah.
It's the last day. We can do whatever we want after this. We're going to change everything. You just
Yeah. Now, I was talking to you about growing in Malaysia nowadays. I was so glad to see that my aunt, she's also starting to get to play around in the garden a lot more, and also trying to grow all sorts of interesting fruits. Because at one point she have a wild fig tree that she said, I don't know how it got to my yard. These wild fig that grows in the Malaysian jungle, they can grow up to 200 feet tall. And the fig is very tiny. It's a small little fig that the monkeys just love. All the monkeys just go and, feast on these things, right? So now they introduce you a regular fig. Kind of nice to see that she's trying to grow them too. So, like I said, when I was growing up, we have papaya, we have the local, pineapple, coconut, nothing fancy. But now it's just getting really, really weird how they can plant all these stuff. And they even grow, but believe it or not, they actually grow apples on some of the high elevation, because there's some mountains and in Malaysia, not a whole lot of them, and the climates are different there. And they actually can grow the apple trees there. Like right in the middle of the tropical forest, right? You got this mountain just jetted up in the ground, and then on top, there's actually a village on top. And a lot of these places, there's no road. You have to get there by helicopter. So a lot of these places, because they're cooler out there, and because of the heat in Malaysia, people actually spend the money flying up there, to have a vacation up there to cool off. Sort of interesting, eh? So yesterday I was in the garden, and my aunt wrote me, showing me some stuff, and I wrote back, and I was telling her that, picture of my garden. I said, yeah, I see it's growing, but slowly, it's still cold. So then I Photoshot the temperature, the weather page, and then send it to her. Yesterday was like 13 degree. And she just couldn't believe oh my God, that's cold. It'd be so nice to have them over for vacation, but for Malaysian to come to Canada, even for a visit, it's not that easy. The Malaysian embassy in Singapore, they are very strict about who is coming to Canada to visit. I have to first have a letter written, and to them, and then they can present it to them that they know somebody, and then they actually come and stay with us. It's almost like I'm the guarantor or something, and then they want to see your bank account. So if my aunt wants to come here, she has to show her bank account to the Canadian embassy to prove that she have money in the bank, and she's just not coming here to get a job or something. It's partly because Malaysia is a Muslim country. But if you're a South Korean, if you're from South Korea, you can just purchase the tickets and come to Canada, visit without anything, any restriction. On the lighter notes, I cannot wait to see they're gonna charge Donald Trump for something. Yeah, did you guys hear about there's an investigation going on against him? Or?
Yeah, do you think
But is it being addressed soon or?
Yeah, they're already trying to put everything in place and all that stuff. That's like one of the best reality show. How this?
So it's New York. It's New York City.
Yeah.
Investigating his tax and a whole bunch of other
strange
things.
All kinds of illegal, transaction. Yeah, I would like to see him suffer.
That's not very nice, Willie. You have to love your enemies.
Not that one, no. He's not an enemy. He's an evil person. He's the devil in disguise.
Yeah.
Well, especially they're stealing money, right? They're stealing money from charity and stuff like that. It's like, what the hell? You set up charity thinking that, oh, they're doing good stuff, but oh no, they're pocketing the money. And then the people who need it are not going to get it. So Lucy, are you really religious?
No.
No?
I was raised very Catholic.
Yeah.
I went to a Catholic school and I was taught by nuns and all that. But I gave it all up in my adult life. Yeah.
Well, I was brought up in a Catholic. I was baptized a Catholic. But all through my childhood, we have changed so many religions. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I recently saw a picture of, I'm going to put it on Facebook. It's my mom and dad's wedding picture. Got married in the Catholic church. And
your mom looks so young. Well, they both do, but honestly, she could be 45.
Well, when she put makeup on and everything, oh, she looks absolutely amazing. And she knows how to dress well too. I mean, she was a seamstress, a chef, everything that have to do with like an artistic, creative things, and she was amazing. And when she was younger, and I would say late teen, she was almost like a cabaret singer.
Wow.
And they will have a two-man band, and they will be going to little town and sing. And she sings. She's the lead singer. That's why when I was young, all I did when I was a kid, just listening to her sing, and I sang along with her eventually, and I studied all the songs in the songbook that she has. So when I start grade 1, the principal came into the class. That was the first class for him to teach us. And, he kind of know me because it's a small town, right? He eats at my mom and grandfather's restaurant. And then he was asking what everybody can do. Can you show me what you can do, what you're good at, So when it come to my turn, I say, I can sing. So of course he's like, sure. He said, Willie, we want to hear you sing. Can you sing us a song? So I belt out this ballad, and it's a love song, and I meant it too, right? He actually called my mom and said, oh my God, he said, your kid can sing. I still remember at grade 6, I left the class, took a day off, and went and joined a singing competition. I don't know how in those days, I'm just not afraid or anything, And everybody in schools are looking for me, and here I was singing in a theater somewhere. Those are the days.
My claim to fame, my only thing I could do when I was a kid, or that I, probably pretty much, was I was good at track and field. So I was good at high jumping.
Oh, yeah.
I spent hours and hours before school, lunch hour, after school, jumping over that bar.
Well, we do that for fun, not competing. Now, neighborhood kids all came, and then we just do high jump and stuff like that. That's fun. So did you win anything?
Well, one year I set a record in high jump in Toronto.
Whoa.
So
that explained the long legs, eh?
Right. Not that tall, really.
Yeah.
Willie, in your mom's band, what instruments would there have been? Would it have been like traditional?
Well, I remember seeing the picture. There's the accordion.
Okay.
Yeah. The main one is an accordion. And the other fellow, I'm not even sure. In the picture I saw, it was just parts of the instruments. I'm not sure what it was. And it could be a guitar or something. And oh yeah, she's all decked up in a capri kind of thing, tucked in shirt, flower, high collar, and made up. And it was just like, you said, oh my God, Mom. And then she met my dad, and that was the end of it.
I'm finding this picture, this scene is kind of all one tone.
Which one?
Yours is a little bit maybe all one tone too. The one that with the rocks and the trees. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is just an outline. Then you're gonna go in there. Remember I was saying that you just go in there and start
really
finding
any
area that needs to be contrasted, like the side of the tree here is not quite dark yet. And adding all this beautiful blemishes on the rock here. Put some stone drawing on here or something.
So the darkest part should be
lower,
kind of towards the front.
No, this one, because my light is coming from here, right?
Okay, right.
So therefore, everything on the right-hand side, underneath the branch here, for example, this branch here should be darker on this side, darker on this side, that kind of stuff. And then the rock here, this corner, I'm not going to worry too much about it. Anything that's in between, keep it nice and dark. So are you guys running out of things to cook?
It's kind of barbecue season, right? So.
Oh yes.
Shish kebabs, and I've fallen in love again with butternut squash.
Oh yeah.
Love butternut squash.
Yeah, butternut squash. One of my students, Maria, she makes the best butternut squash pastry thing. So she make a very light bread dough, and then she spread it, like literally roll it out, and then she baked the butternut squash, and then scrape it out, add cinnamon and sugar, brown sugar, and then she spread it onto this dough, right? And then she rolled them out, or fold them, and then she baked them.
Did she cook the butternut squash first?
Yeah. You
Yeah,
bake
she
it first.
roasted it first. Yeah.
Yeah, you bake it and then you scrape it out, add sugar and cinnamon, and then spread it on the dough and roll it out,
Oh, it would be good.
and then let it rise, and then you bake it. And oh my God, it's so good. And then she said she always make tons of them so that she frees them, right? So when she comes to class, she always brings, she knows that, I like it. And so she'll bring butternut squash thing and dessert. So then the whole class will get to taste it and stuff. So I asked them how to make it. That's how she told me. So I haven't tried it yet. I did something slightly different, and it's called the rose in Jewish. I don't know. I don't speak Yiddish. It's more or less the same kind of idea. So if you Google it, rose, Jewish rose pastry, you can see it. So in that one, you don't just fold it and then leave the whole log in there to bake, right? You make it really nice and thin, and then when you roll it, you don't roll. It's not so much a square, but when you roll it out, it's more like half of it, I bet, long. So then you roll it, so you got a little log like this. Then you pull the log to make it slightly longer, and then you roll these log into a little rose like kind of rolled, and then you cut. That's one, and then you continue to roll again, and you cut. So then you got these almost like a cinnamon, but it's not cut, it's all wrapped, right?
Yeah.
And then you bake it. I made it once. It was so much work. Oh, Francis, after the first time, I'm going, that's just it. I'm not doing this again. I don't care how much you like it.
Well, Marie was in our watercolor class on Fridays at one point, wasn't she?
Yeah.
I think just
Yeah,
briefly.
yeah,
Is she
yeah.
the nurse? Is she a
No,
nurse?
no. Maria is no, I don't know if it's in water class. She's in
Oh,
my
maybe not.
acrylic,
Oh, okay.
she's in acrylic class. Yeah, she has very heavy accent. It's a Yugoslavian accent or Hungarian. I'm not sure. What a nice couple though. Her and her husband is just amazing people.
So
You
when
know,
you're able to open up, Willie, will you do drawing and watercolor and acrylic, all of it at the shop?
well, my brother is ready for me and I'm not ready,
Yeah.
and then because I it's a good thing I didn't do it, because this shutting down and open up, shutting down, it's not good for everybody either, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I kind of told my brother that I said I will just wait until this whole pandemic thing is over. And right now you see that just like the Southwest Sueza too, I don't see any I don't know, any dates that they have that they're going to open up completely. Or did you hear anything at all?
No, there's nothing.
Today, right now, I guess I just got a notice on my phone. There's an announcement about, BC was announcing their sort of plan for opening up. So I'm curious to see, but whether it all comes true is another thing as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But you know what? I think right now we're doing so well. It's really not a good time to loosen up that quickly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just wait a couple more months. Wait
Yeah.
till everyone has their second vaccine.
Yeah. Just wait till everybody get vaccinated and then we'll talk, right?
Yeah.
But this is just too soon. I mean, we all have first one, and there's cases where you can still get sick from it.
I would like to know when we're going to get our second. That's what I want to know.
Most likely, according to Dr. Rob, the end of June.
End of June.
Earlier than, slightly earlier than predicted or planned, because mine was I was supposed to get my next one July 8th, right? And they said that you might get it in June. So And also too, they say it's all based on what the world is happening around the world, you know. So just like in the case of India, a lot of the vaccine was basically reset or sent back there to help them out
Oh, really?
because they need it more than we do. So if you have a serious infection in some third world country, you know, they just feel the need to maybe send them there. So
Well, if you've got to, because if they get like 4 variants removed, right, and then it gets back into Canada, it could be
yeah, exactly.
game
Yeah,
all over again, right?
yeah. And right now, a lot of this poor country, they just getting worse and worse still, right? So, and then of course that's why we might not get our, you know, that if you get AstraZeneca like I did, I'm not going to get AstraZeneca again. Then my next dose will be Pfizer.
Do you know that for sure?
Well, because they're sending all the Zeneca to this third world country, right? They're all the stuff is redirected to there. So
Yeah. And they say it might be a good thing too to mix it up.
yes,
So.
yes, they did this because they have to do study and say, you know, is this really good idea? Turns out, like I said the last time, turns out that it's better.
Yeah. That
Yeah, your immune system, you know, the built up and everything, the two vaccine together, it's even better. So which is a good thing.
My friend got AstraZeneca and then went to the States and lied when she was there and told them she didn't have any vaccine. So then she got her first dose of Pfizer. So
Oh, yeah?
she says she's doing good. She says, I haven't grown a second head or anything.
Well, most likely she won't. Yeah, it should be okay.
Yeah.
Because the second dose is exactly the same as the first dose. And then of course, right now it's the Philippine now. In Philippine, it first happened in Brazil, where they are giving they're shooting blank basically into your arms, and I thought that is so criminal, you know. Yeah, it started in Brazil. You know, they were inoculating people without really moving the needle. There's nothing in the needle. They just push it in, pull it out, and then put a cotton swab thing on it, and that's it. And then whoever got the shot was so happy. And then of course they zoom in the cameras and find out that there's nothing in the syringe. So now it's happening in Philippines now. Because in some country you have to pay for this vaccine, right? So if they can just pretend they were shooting you with a vaccine, you know how much money these people can make from it? See, that's a problem, right? If you start charging, you know, for it, and people are going to find ways to make money. That's what I told my aunt, you know, I said, make sure that when you get your vaccine, keep an eye and make sure you ask them to show you the needle, show you the syringe. You know, this. But right now, it's really weird how Malaysia works because let's say my hometown will get, say, 2,000 doses, you know, per day or today. And then they will go online and then you have to bid on it. And that's just totally criminal too. I mean, you know, so people like my aunt really don't have a whole bunch of money to spend, right? Yeah, how do you bid on something? You know, it could be getting really expensive. I was trying to find out on the news, and but there's some little short little clip about the car accident on the highway. Do you guys know more about that?
No, not about the truck driver.
There's 16 car pileup.
Oh, no, haven't heard that. No.
What about you, Pat? Have you heard anything?
No, I never, that's the first news I've heard of it.
Really, eh? Yeah, if you Google accident on Highway 16, and you can see that there's something on it too. And then there's two accidents. There's Highway 16 East and Highway 16 West. And then something else happened somewhere, because when Rob was driving to Cranbrook on Highway 2, there were like 20 police cars, like this SUV, black SUV, flashing the light down and heading north from either Calgary or from somewhere, So there's something else happening. And I don't watch the Edmonton's news very much, so I have no idea. I really don't really mind it if I don't know anything, except that if we need to evacuate and look and board at a spaceship, let me know though, okay? You have my number, because I don't want to come out of my Zoom and then going, where the hell is everybody?
Yeah. Right.
And then to be told later on that I think we missed the flight because there's a spaceship taking off. And
You're so
We're
funny,
getting all our
Willie.
news from you.
pardon me, Pat.
You're so funny.
Oh. Well, I guess that's my ultra kind of ultimate dream, to be taken up into space.
Really? Would you like if you could go for free, would you go to Mars?
No, because I know there's nothing there. I mean, if I want to go, it better be some other galactica somewhere in another another planet.
So how does the nude look, Willie?
Oh, let's see. Hold it up. Okay, I can see the legs.
Good job.
Yeah. And this particular one, Pat, you need the background, eh? You need the background to really show up the body.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get some ink yet or no?
No, I just use a magic or one of those
Oh,
markers.
the magic marker, yeah.
Yeah.
That will work. Looks good. I haven't done my nudes yet. So have you guys seen UFO at all? I'm curious.
No.
No? It's really hard to see anything in Edmonton because it's so bright at night. And unless you go into a countryside, you might see something. But because I think we have some UFO hotspot in Alberta somewhere. But when I was growing up in Malaysia, at nighttime we used to spend time on the beach. And there's no electricity, so we have a little fire going on sometimes, and we'll be lying down on the beach because that's what we do. Because of the weather, it was so hot that we want to cool down, so we would lie down on the cool sand. It's really nice. And so you look at the sky, there's just like millions of stars, and you can see shooting stars. Yes, you know what is shooting stars because they only go in one direction. Then you see some UFO. You have no idea what they are because they travel, different direction, different angle, and stop. And then they will do like a zigzag or L shape and whatever. And usually, us kids, we got so scared we all ran home. I wish in those days we have nice telescope or something to be able to see what's going on with it. Because in Malaysia, in Borneo, where I grew up, at nighttime, it's just pitch dark. We didn't have electricity till I was about 16. I remember I had to do my homework and everything by a kerosene lamp. Every night I have to start it, and my grandma will watch. I'll start the kerosene lamp, one for the living room, and that's it. And then I have to study. Before that, all the time I study by a candlelight, right? And then after that, we improve it to a little bit of a kerosene light. I don't even know how I studied in those days. You know, you can't hardly see. So you do your homework as much as you can during the day when there's lights. So Lucy, did you say you grew up in Ontario?
Yes, I grew up in Toronto, in Scarborough. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Which part of Scarborough, Lucy?
I lived near like Markham and Lawrence.
My wife is from the Bluffs.
Oh yeah, my brother lives
Gilwood
very
Vi-
close to the Bluffs. I had an uncle that lived in that area. Yeah,
Yeah, Gilwood Village.
nice. Yeah, that's where he lived too.
Did you say block? What does that mean?
The Bluffs.
Bluffs.
Bluff.
They're like cliffs. My brother lives by the beach.
Yeah, by Lake Ontario, the Bluffs on Lake Ontario.
Yeah, and that's where I went to high school because it was right near there.
Which school?
I went to Notre Dame High School.
Oh, okay.
Restrictions remain in all sectors, and masking and physical distancing rules
Oh, yeah.
must continue to apply. These rules are province-wide. There is no more regional approach. We are moving forward as one Alberta.
Oh, I can hear Chandra. He's going on and on.
So is that Jason Kenny?
That's Chandra.
Oh, Sam. Oh,
Wow.
can't stand the guy.
No, that guy.
I'm hopeful about good news about opening up, even if it doesn't happen today.
No. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I will continue to wear my mask.
Yeah, I will too. Yeah. And even in
When I go
September.
outside.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't when you came here, but you know, I trust that you're not contagious.
No, I've had 2 vaccines actually.
I know.
I'm lucky. Yeah.
I
Is
think
it because
I
of the
feel more
age?
safe now with the vaccine.
What was that, Lucy?
I feel more safe. Like we had the kids over in the yard.
Yeah.
I felt like, we played beanbag toss and I wasn't freaking out about the fact we all touched the beanbag, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think a month ago that would have been like, oh my God.
But they've had their shots, right? They've had their first
Yeah,
shots.
but
Yeah.
everyone had one shot. Yeah.
So really, I booked on March 9th, both my shots with Windermere Safeway. And on March 10th, the government brought in the 4-month rule. So it means the people booked on the 9th or earlier were grandfathered in. So I got my second shot 6 weeks post first. So
Mhm.
Do you feel more sick, Francis? Because Alan did.
no, not at all. Not at all.
Oh, that's good. He felt worse after the
Did
second.
he? Yeah, I've heard that, but no, I felt great. In fact, I wondered if there was any vaccine in either of my shots. Because I didn't feel anything.
I don't think it happens in Canada.
Oh. And actually, they say the older you are, the less the effect.
Really?
The side effects. Yeah.
But isn't that terrible when this country that giving them blanks, you know?
It is. It's terrible.
I don't know. Sometimes
Criminal. It's criminal.
they have no whatever at all. Like, what do you call those? Conscience, and it's all have to do with money, right? So can you imagine the kind of money they can make, because they don't need to have the vaccine on hand, right? And all they have is needle, and for all we know, they're probably using the same needle for everybody. The one that's in Brazil I saw was after they gave the guy a shot, and he was so happy. He was like 2 thumbs up, and all happy, and then they zoom into the needle, replay it to see how the guy injected. Nothing in there. He didn't push the back of the needle. He just kind of poke it in and pull it out, and that's it. And in those countries too, the corruption and stuff like that, it's impossible to, who do you penalize? Who do you go and get your answer from, right? Anyway, I'm getting hungry.
This sketching is addictive. Once you get it kind of established, and you have to start shading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's kind of addictive, right?
Yes.
You can do it while you're watching TV. Like once you're kind of just adding more depth to the color.
Oh yeah, you can even do it when you're on Zoom.
Yeah, that's true. I was in my Zoom book club, and I had a picture. And I thought, okay, yeah, and like you can talk and sketch at the same time.
Yeah.
It's amazing. No short of brilliant.
So you have grandkids. How many do you have, Lucy?
I have no grandchildren.
Oh, so
No,
these are.
I just have children.
Oh, just kids. Oh, okay.
I have a son and daughter, and then Alan and I have blended families. So he has 2 daughters. So we have 4 grown kids, but no grandkids.
Oh, okay. They're still young though, right?
Well, I don't know. No, not that
Nope.
young.
Not young.
I mean, I'm not like, I think maybe one of them will. I'm not sure my kids will, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a priority somehow.
No, if I have to do it all over again, I have more kids, and then this time I want daughters.
Daughter, it's nice to have a daughter.
Yes, because from what I can tell, and the girls are the best, looking after their parents, right?
Yeah.
So look at I have 2 boys. They don't even care if I'm dead or alive. So
yeah, I know. Yeah.
We have 2 boys, and one of them really looks after us.
oh yeah.
He's very family oriented. The other one is getting better.
Getting better. There's hope.
There's hope. Yeah.
Okay.
We have 5 grandkids.
No, eh?
That's nice.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't see my other grandkids in Australia that often, but
Okay, I'm gonna say bye now.
okay.
We'll see you at watercolor. I have to sign up next month. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
oh, it's all right. Oh my goodness, it's 1:15.
See
Okay,
you.
Willie,
See
thank you
Friday.
very much.
Yeah.
Terrific.
See you. Pat, keep drawing, okay?
Thanks, Willie.
And then
That was a fantastic.
anytime you feel like sending your drawing to me via email, you have my email, and send it to me so I can see.
Okay.
Okay. All
Don't
right.
forget, there's a class
Okay,
next
bye-bye.
week.
In what? In sketching?
Yep, because we missed one, remember? The very first class.
Oh.
So we have a makeup class on June 2nd.
On a minute, I'll call you back.
Oh.
Okay, wait a minute.
No, that's not right, Ruth. We never missed a
No, that's
class.
not right.
No.
No, you're thinking of Watercolor Thursday maybe, but not us.
Oh, right, because we were always virtual. Never mind, sorry.
Okay, good.
It's okay, Ruth.
I was thinking this was in person, but
Okay,
not bad.
For that, Ruth, I'm going to bill you extra.
I probably wouldn't notice. Catherine might, so.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Yeah.
All
And I'll
right,
send
last
you the
class,
invoice.
sorry.
All right. Send you the invoice soon. All right.
Okay, sounds good.